Well, I'm curious, what was your early sex education? Like, how did you kind of first learn about sex? What did it look like in school? Did you have a conversation with your parents about it? Did you learn about it through health class?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, I went to high school in South Africa, so there was no sex ed. I was at an all girls school too.
So wait,
Um,
no, like, did they tell you that period? I mean, just nothing.
Not really. It was
Okay.
like Anglican too, so it was very conservative.
Okay.
So I think for me, learning about my body really started with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
They're both clinicians, and my mom specifically was very kind of hands-on with like, this is how you wash your vulva, this is how you wash your armpits, like this is what you need to be aware of. And there was like no flap or fold like that wasn't explored. So I already had like a
That's great.
good connection with my body that wasn't necessarily like sex positive as we define it today, but just anatomically confident. I was like, I
Yes.
know where this is and I know where that is.
And did she use anatomically correct language? Because I hear a lot of parents talking to their kids about their private parts and they kind of use very cutesy little names.
She used the right names.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of important too. I think when you think about helping a young person protect their body, the
Mm-hmm.
more they actually are able to speak to what their parts are, the more they're able to have more autonomy
Mm-hmm.
over what happens to their body, or if their body is violated, being able to talk about it
Yes.
explicitly and be like, this is where it
Right.
happened. So I'm a big fan of like actual names.
Yes.
But I think in terms of sex education, it was a lot of reading for me, and then porn, truly.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
think like porn in the way that it was developed when there was still VHSs and DVDs. I'm not that old. I was born in 1986, but it was just a different way of taking it in. And so I think combo of like reading lots of health books. I'm still am a voracious reader, but I really was when I was
Mm-hmm.
younger. I feel like when I say voracious reader, I sound like Cat Williams. Let me just think about that. I'm like, I read a lot, and I still do. And that's kind of where I formulated my understanding of my body. And I was also really experimental. I think I started masturbating when I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8,
Oh,
somewhere
wow.
in there. Like, and I think a lot of people, when they actually drop in and think about it, there usually is, just from a developmental perspective, like some type of awakening during that
Mm-hmm.
stage anyway. But I've always like enjoyed how sex, pleasure, arousal
Mm-hmm.
has made me feel. So it's not something I've really shied away
Yeah.
from.
And it sounds like you didn't have any shame associated with it. You weren't taught to be, I don't know, afraid of your body or ashamed of having these feelings.
No, not really. It's interesting. I don't know how I bypassed
Mm-hmm.
it, to be honest, because my parents are Nigerian immigrants, Catholic, devout Christian, all of that. But I've always just been so single minded and
Mm-hmm.
very kind of on my own path.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a lot for me to get deterred from what I feel I like or
Yeah.
what I feel I'm interested in. So I think my high conviction around my body
Yes.
and the things I liked kind of protected me from being overly
Yeah.
shunted into the shame
Yeah.
tunnel.